Mr. Alan. Alan,
Hello, how are you?
right, what happened yesterday?
Uh, I started with 7:30 and I turned out 7:30 and he was busy with the other share. And the next thing I knew, I got busy. Next thing I knew, it was 8:15 and I don't know
Oh,
what
okay.
happened.
I
I
sent you
learned,
the video. I sent you the video.
I know I'm up to Chop already. What are we doing today? What's today's stuff? I learned all the way today, three blot. What is
18 today.
18? Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, I did everything. I'm good. I got a very good feeling of the whole thing. Yeah. So, all right.
Okay. Hello, Ernie.
Hi,
Yeah. Hello.
we're on Yud Ches, 18.
Yeah.
Halacha Rabbi Yossi b'moed ve'evel. The halacha is like Rabbi Yossi that you can cut your fingernails in the Chol Hamoed as an avel. The Amar Shmuel, halacha kedivra mekel be'evel. We always go by avelus ula. Pinchas achua de Mar Shmuel, Pinchas the brother of Mar Shmuel, Isra Milsa. He became an avel. Al Shmuel Mishal Tamimine. Shmuel came up to sort of pep him up. Chazina l'tuf davin afishan. He saw that his he hadn't cut his fingernails. They were long. Armalei amaylo shakatlu. Why didn't you cut your fingernails? Armalei ibididei avemizbus. If this would have happened to you, if you would have become an avel, would you have been mezalzel in the avelis to cut your fingernails? Well, he was posech pelasotin. Havi kishkaga shiyotzim of shalid. He had said to Shmuel, well, if this would have happened to you, so v'yisra be'milsa b'Shmuel. So Shmuel became an avel. Al Pinchas achua lishmishol tamimine. So Pinchas, hi Kenny, we're on Yud Ches, Amad Aleph.
Okay, thank you.
Al Pinchas achua lemishol tamimine. Pinchas went to be Menachem Ovel. Shkinu l'turfa chavitu lapei. And Shmuel cut his fingernails and threw them in his face. Amar le leslach bris kruzelis v'sayim. You weren't careful with your lips. You said to me that if you would know what I was going through, and you see, I became a novel. You didn't watch your mouth carefully. Dom Rav Yochanan, minayin shabris kruselis v'sayim. How do we know that there's a bris with our lips? Shenemar. Vayom Avram el Narav. Shulachem poy machamor. Vani vanar nelchad. Kov nishtachavem v'noshuv aleichem. Avram said, we're going to come back to you, even though he knew he was taking Yitzchak to the Akedah, V'stayim milsa d'hadar tavayu. And in fact, there's a bris with his words. They both came back. Now, Svor minei diyad in the regular that they understood from Shmuel's acts that you're allowed to cut your fingernails of your hands, but not of your feet. Because of your hands, it looks, you can see them. People don't see your feet. So it's embarrassing, so you can cut it. Loshna the Yev, Loshna the Regal, they're both permitted. It's all permitted to cut as an oven. With a kli that's made specifically for cutting nails, you can't use that. You have to do it in the shini. We visited Rav Yochanan in the yeshiva in Chol Moed. He bit his fingernails. That was a shinu, but he threw them on the ground. It's permitted to take off your fingernails. You're not supposed to put something mos in your mouth, and he put his fingernails in his mouth. So fingernails are not by themselves mos. And you can just throw the fingernails away. The Gemara says, it's not so. 3 halachos were said by fingernails. Hakoivran, if you bury them, tzaddik. Sorfan, if you burn them, chassid, which is even higher than a tzaddik. Zorkan, Russia. If you just throw them on the ground, you're a Russia. Why? Time am I? If a pregnant woman walks on it, she could have a miscarriage. So why did Rabbi Yochanan throw the nails on the ground? The Gemara says, Isha be midrasha lo shchicha. It's not common for women to come into yeshiva. So he had no problem. Now, sometimes they would sweep the floors and they would sweep them outdoors after they had fallen on the floor. And how come we're not worried that people are going to walk on it outdoor? Kivan dishtani ishtani. Once they've moved from one place where they fell to another place, it doesn't have that quality anymore that it would cause miscarriages. A pair of chachamim came from the place Chamson in front of Rebbe. Umar Zutra Masni Zugba mechamson if they Rebbe. Ubikshu mimenu tzipirah. They wanted to know the halacha regarding fingernails. Ba'avelas. V'hiter lahem, and he said it's permitted. V'bikshu mimenu safa, and they asked about cutting off your mustache. V'hiter lahem, and he was matir. Ushmul amarav bikshu mimenu safa v'hiter lahem. Amar Avitul Safa Mishmeid Rav Papa. Avitul, the Sofer, said in the name of Rav Papa, Safa means obviously you can cut your mustache from corner to corner. Amar Ravami, Safa Makevis, but only if it's hard to eat your food because the mustache hangs down low. However, Amar Nachbar Yitzchak L'didika Safa Makevis Damili. Any mustache is considered to me like a mustache that's interfering with eating. Amar Avitul Safa Mishmeid Rav Papa Paro. Shahai b'mei Moshe hu ama. He was a midget. He was only 1 ama, 2 feet tall. Uskano ama, his beard was an ama. Uparmashto ama, the zeres. And his male member was also an ama, a little bit. Lakai mashnemar ushfala noshim yakim alei. A small person will rule over you. V'amra avitul safar mitrei Rav Papa. Paro shahai b'mei Moshe amgushiyai. He was a magician. He was a sorcerer. He was a wizard. Because the Torah says he would go out to the river, and the wizards would do their kishuf by the river. The following people can take a haircut during Cholam, can wash their laundry. We said somebody who comes from China. Someone who only has 1 garment. So that garment you can wash. But Masif Rav Yomi, but it doesn't mention somebody who only has cholok echad. Hani in mishein lo cholok echad lo. Someone with 1 garment, it's not permitted. Armalei Rav Yaakov Rav Yomi azbelcha masnis nafal gav di islay trey umitanfi. The Mishnah is going that even if you have 2 and they're dirty, then you can do it. You can wash them. And the other Mishnah is only when you have 1 garment. It's the same. You have no garments otherwise. Flax, linen. They get dirty easily, so you're allowed to wash them. Mosif Rava. Hand towels. The garment that barbers put over their customers so they don't get dirty. That's what you can launder cholamoid. Hani in klepishtanov didn't say anything about linen garments. The Mishnah, other meaning can be washed. No, other meaning only these things, hand towels and things. But by linen, any kind of garment can be washed. I saw the Kinneret, the Mafkila Masichli, the Mani Kitna B'chol Demoy, and people would bring their laundry down, especially their linen laundry, down to the Kinneret and launder them. Yeah, but that's no raya. Who says that was done with the permission of the Chachamim? Maybe the Chachamim were not happy about that. Mishnah. The following document can be written in Cholamoid. Kiddushay Noshim. the Mishnah thinks that this is talking about a star, right? You can be Makadish a woman with Kesef star and Bia. So Kesef means Hare ad Mikudeshes b'shtar zeh. So the Mishnah Havamina right now is you can write a star to use as a Kiddushin star. The Gittin, that's self-explanatory. Shoivrin is a receipt that if somebody paid a debt, you write a receipt. Daidiki, that's a document that says such and such person leaves over an asset as a Yerusha. Shtari Matana, that's a gift document. Prus Bulin, right? If you have a loan. So normally, Shemitah comes and wipes away the loan. But if the Malva writes a star that gives his document over to Bezdin, so documents held by Bezdin are not wiped away by Shemitah. Igros Shum, these are documents that they estimate the value of a certain asset in Bezdin. And it's given over to a lender as collateral. Igros Mazin, person accepted to the responsibility of food for, usually it meant their stepchildren, which was written in the Ksuba. Shtar Chalitza, a document that documents that Chalitza was done so they could show it to Bezdin. O Miyunin, right? If a young girl under the age of 12 is married off by her father, so that's Kiddushin Midoraisa, you need a full-fledged get for that marriage. However, if there's no father and the mother or the brothers marry her off as a Ketana, so the din is the Ketana can do miyun. At any time, she could just say, I don't want to be married, and you don't need a get. So this star is a star miyun. Shtare birurin, let's say Bezdin appoints Dayanim to be a boirer, and they would document that with a star. Gzeros Bezdin, which a psak of Bezdin would be written. The Igeres shall reshus. These are various documents that you need to fill out that belong to the government. So all of these documents can be written on Cholamoy. Omer Shmuel, Mutul Aris Isha B'chol Shemoid. You're allowed to be Makadish a woman Cholamoy. Shema Yikadmenu Acher. Because maybe somebody else will jump in and be Makadisher. Leva Misaleya, maybe our Mishnah's support of the statement of Shmuel. Elu Kois Memoid Kiddushin Noshim. My love is Shtar Kiddushin Mamish. Like I said, the Havamina is that we're talking about real Shtar Kiddushin. Lo, Shtar Psikta. This is like they would document this family is giving $1,000, this family is giving $1,000. It's just business. Like we learn Rav Gidel Amarav. Sham Rav Gidel Amarav. Kama aton lebincha. How much are you going to pay Nedunya on behalf of your son? And kach v'kach, he would say so much. Kama aton lebincha. The father of the bride would be asked, how much are you going to give? Kach v'kach. Omdu v'kidshu. Kanu. Heinin advama nikdim ba'mira. So the Kinyan is a good Kinyan for all these things that were mentioned and written down in that shtar. Now, maybe Lema Messiah lay, I'll bring you another proof, maybe, to Shmuel's statement that you're allowed to be Makadish and Isha Cholamoid. Ein Noisin Noshim B'moyed. You can't do Nesuin Cholamoid. Lo Psulos, Lo Amonos. Someone who's never been married, a woman who's been married. Lo Meyabmin. You don't do Yibum Ibnei Shesh Simcha Hilo. These things are Simcha. And we said, Ein Marvin Simcha B'Simcha. But we're Medayik, Hala Are Shari. But Kiddushin L'chor is Mutter. Or says, no, it's not Mutter. Loma Boy Kamar. It's in the structure of not only this, but this also. The Loma Boy La'are, certainly it's clear we can't do Kiddushin, because when you do Kiddushin, the Lo Kavid Mitzvah, there's no mitzvah with Kiddushin. Alafil Lisa Nami, the Kavid Mitzvah. But even when you perform the mitzvah of Nesuin, it's Asr. Toshma, the Tanavei B'Shmuel. Ma'arsin avaloi konsin. You could do kiddushin, but no nesuin. Veinoisin sudas erusin. You don't make a party of erusin of lo miyabim beish zimcha ilo. Shma mina. You're allowed to be makadesh. Says Shulchan Aruch says you're allowed to be makadesh. You can't do nesuin, and you can't do a sudas erusin. But you could be makadesh and isha cholamoy. Umi Amar Shmuel Shami Kadmenu Acher, this svara that you're allowed to do kiddushin because maybe another guy will step in and be makadesh her. How could Shmuel say that? Vam Rav Yudam Amar Shmuel, B'chol yom v'yom bas kol yotzis v'omeres bas ploni leploni, soda ploni leploni. Every day, Baskol comes out to say such and such person is designated for such and such woman. So why are we concerned that some guy's going to step in? It's already been declared who's for who. Doesn't mean a person can't daven and be mavatal b'gzeira that the Baskol this called out. So in a Chanami says the Mishnah, you should jump in and be makadesh. Rava overheard a young man daven to say, "Tis daven li planisa." I want this woman for a wife. So Rava said that you shouldn't daven like that. If she's for you, she won't leave you. If she's destined to be for you, if she's your basher, it's going to happen. V'ilo kofarta b'Hashem. And you're rejecting Hashem. Particularly, you're going to be koifer in Hashem. Why? Because you're going to say, "Oh, Hashem didn't answer my prayer." So basar hachishmayde kamer o iu lemus mikama o iu tamus mikame. So this woman got married to that guy that she was married to, and he overheard this guy davening that maybe the husband should die. So I guess he could then marry her. But he also davened that she should die because I guess he was angry at her that she got married. So that's why Rava told him it's not the proper tefillah to do. I told you that it's not the proper thing to daven for this thing. This concept that a man's wife is from Hashem, it's bashert. We learn it from the Torah and Atorah and Nevi'im and Aksuvim. Hashem ish ish, that Hashem provides our spouses. Min haTorah d'chsiv, vayan Lavan u'b'seil vayomru, Hashem yatsa davar. When Eliezer came to get Rivka from the house of Lavan and B'suel, in the end, Lavan and B'suel themselves said, "Me Hashem yatsa davar." Min haNevi'im d'chsiv, avivi imo lo yadu ki me Hashem hi. I think this is to do with the wives of Shimshon, that the father and the mother didn't know that this was also from Hashem. And min aksuvim d'chsiv, bayis v'hon nachlas avos Hashem isha maskelas. A wise woman comes from Hashem. Now, since we mentioned some dvar halacha from an unusual source, Amar Rav Mishum Rav Reuven ben Strabuli, we mentioned some other things. Amar Rav Mishum Rav Reuven ben Strabuli. V'yamri lo b'masnisat, others say we learn a baraisa. Amar Rav Reuven ben Strabuli. Ein adam nechshad b'davar ela im kein aso. If a person is suspected of doing something, usually, like if there's smoke, there's fire. Usually he probably had done it. The loss of kulo. And if what he's suspected of, he didn't do the whole thing, asa miktaso, he probably did a little bit of it. V'im lo asa miktaso, here believable asaso. It must be that he thought about doing it. V'im lo here believable asaso, ra acherim she'asu v'samach. He saw other people doing this evil thing and he was happy about it. So Moshe Rav Yaakov. Vayachpu bnei Yisrael dvarim asher lochein al Hashem. Vayachpu bnei Yisrael dvarim asher lochein al Hashem Elokim. This is Malachim. They did things that they weren't supposed to do. So Hasav Lachis Uda of it. Yeah, but that's no raya because they're the Dafka were doing it Lachis. They weren't thinking about it really doing it. They were just doing it to anger the person. Toshma Vayikanu Lamoshe b'machal Aaron Kadosh Hashem. The Klal Yisrael in the Midbar, they were jealous of Moshe. Rabbi Shmuel Bar Yitzchak Amar Melamid Shekol Echad Kinei Li'ishto Mimoshe. Every husband suspected their wives of having some kind of affair with Moshe Rabbeinu. Now we know, we just said, a person is not nechshad ela im kein aso. Chas v'sholem to say Moshe Rabbeinu had any thought of any of this. How could they be mekaneim? So hasa mishum sinahuda of it, because they hated him. So therefore they were choshed him. Toshma on Rav Yossi Yechelki imisha choishdin osu b'dover ve'enpo. Rav Yossi used to daven and say, I want my chelik to be with people who they're choished of doing something bad, but really they're innocent, because it's a kapara. Like me, they were choished me, but it really wasn't true. Now, how could he daven that it should be said about him? What about this concept of ein adam nechshav b'dover elam kein aso? Like kasha habit call it the pasuk. If it's a rumor and it stops, so then that's not a real chshad. Habit call it the loy pasuk, but a rumor that continues going on, that's a real chshad. Now, how much is that? How do we quantify that? Call it the loy pasuk ad kama. Rabbi Amri Liyem Dumi Demasu Yomu Paga. If the rumor is floating around in the city for a day and a half, that's already considered a rumor that is not going to stop. As long as there hasn't been an interval where it stopped. But if it stopped even in that day and a half, then it's not really a shot. And it had to stop, not because this guy was a powerful mafia guy and people were afraid of him, so they stopped talking about it because of fear. That's not considered that it stopped, and therefore it would be still chshad. Means if it stopped, but then it came back up again. If it came back up again, then it's mamish a problem. All of this is he doesn't have enemies. It's enemies that started, so really it's not a chashad. Okay, we'll save this mission for tomorrow.
Hey, Ernie.
Okay, tomorrow, 8 o'clock, regular time, guys.